let me just, because I'm probably going to have a bit of a rant. I am going to try and keep composure here because last night I actually nearly had a row with the missus over that game, and my head was hot. Normally I have a sandwich and chill out, but I actually wanted to go to bed yesterday at 6:30 in the evening and just wake up tomorrow or wake up today. But that game, right? I said after the Arsenal game, excuse me, when we lost 1-0, you got your famous set piece goal. I said, this manager's done. He's finished. Everyone was like, oh, you're negative, you're negative. Everyone was laughing at me. You've got to back him. You've got to trust the process. It will come good. And everyone laughed at me. And no, I'm going to take a sentence out of Nigel Farage here. Well, everyone laughed. Well, they're not fucking laughing now, are they? Because this manager is finished. And it's not just this manager. We'll get to the ownership in a minute because they are nothing short of a disgrace. Bought us a fantastic stadium, right? But the money we're buying for players, the recruitment has been diabolical. But let's look on yesterday's game, right? I said to Dan and I said to Don, we're going to lose that game comfortably. After the Bournemouth game, the writing was on the wall. Absolutely disastrous, that Bournemouth game. And it's not the first time this season we have had an absolute pasting. Right, 1-0 flatters us. If anyone watched that Bournemouth game, they should have had a minimum of 3 goals. It was a training session. In the final third, it was shooting practice. We don't have a defence. So there can't be no excuses going into the Chelsea game. How the fuck do you get your first team centre-backs back and they both get injured again? What? If that doesn't describe this football club, I don't know what does. You rush your first team centre-backs, you take a huge gamble, and when it doesn't work out, you should be criticised. If any Spurs fan right now can back this manager, then I have no idea what you're watching. We go 2-0 up, right? That was our best 11 we had available, right? You had Romero, you had Van de Ven, you had your doggy, by the way. Honestly, Bissouma just needs to get out of his football club. But your doggy has been absolutely skinned 5 or 6 times this season. We go 2-0 up. The first 12 minutes, we were on fire. But Dominic Solanke's finish is a joke. Kulusevski does really well. I was like, what is happening here? Like, I thought it was going to be a Chelsea all over again. It got to the 25th minute and Lavia started turning out from the press, playing through the press. They got their goal from Jadon Sancho. And then what happens? We completely capitulate. We have lost more games this season than any other team other than the bottom 3. Iriola, since he's been the Bournemouth manager, since June 2023, has collected more points. Bournemouth, Fulham, and Brentford have better managers than us. Honestly, mate, it's a joke. They get the goal. Jadon Sancho is a fantastic finish. The decision-making from Bissouma and Sarr, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, but I would have, I don't even know what you can't obviously sack a player on the spot, but Bissouma should have been fined a week's wages for yesterday. That display from him was nothing short of a disgrace. It's schoolboy defending. You're $100,000 a week Premier League midfielder and you're diving in. And Sarr as well. Cole Palmer's going to the corner flag and you take him out. And then bowling ball nuts, because his nuts are made of fucking steel, just dinks it down the middle. Mate, the football club's a joke. Look at our form. Couldn't beat Fulham. Fulham should have beat us. Roma turned up. Kone absolutely dicked us in midfield. Bournemouth should have been 3 or 4. Galatasaray, Victor Osimhen had 7 shots. When is this manager going to learn? We're not in the SPL, mate. You're not managing Scotland. You're not managing in Japan. Every game is a tough fixture. And we are just opening our legs, waiting to be shafted. Right, it's absolutely disastrous. And honestly, I tell you now, we will not beat Southampton on Sunday. And if we can't beat bottom of the league, then honestly, all our fans coming out, you've got to back this manager. He's a good manager. Any manager that's tuning up against Chelsea should go to a more pragmatic approach and then hit them on a counter. What do? You've got so much space out in that defensive line, you could build a fucking house, right? It's absolutely shambles. I don't know if you saw the picture that's going around. It's Radu Dragusin, 6 in midfield, right? And then 2 up top. What the fuck is that? And this has been happening. 2-0 up against Brighton, completely capitulate, lose 3-2. 2-0 up at Chelsea, completely capitulate. But this, not all, the manager's got to be sacked because the results are not good enough. We should not be sitting 11th in the Premier League. That is unacceptable to be 5 points below Fulham, to be below Bournemouth. But when you actually deep it, Fulham and Bournemouth have got better front threes than us. Fulham and Bournemouth are more organised than us. Yeah. And when Daniel Levy sacks the manager, because he's going to, mark my words, in the next 2 weeks, I said after the Arsenal game, this manager won't make Christmas. That prediction's coming true. We lose to Rangers. They hate Postecoglou, by the way, as an ex-Celtic manager. They absolutely hate him, right? We're going up to the Ibrox in a must-win game. Does anyone on this panel or watching think we're going to beat Rangers away? Because if you do, I don't know what you've been smoking, whatever troops you're smoking, because that is, you are off your head, mate. We are going to get pumped. We're going to get absolutely pumped by them, right? And what happens now? Okay, let's say we bring Thomas Frank in, or Silva, or Iriola. All right, we get a good bounce. We get into the January window, and we need to go out and buy a centre-back. Romero needs to get out of this football club now. I've had enough of you. See you later. He's coming out last night retweeting something about if Ange gets sacked, he wants to leave. You're on 150 grand a week, mate. You're the vice captain, and you're doing Cruyff turns in your own penalty area, and then you get injured doing it. The guy is an absolute disgrace. The only defender at this football club who can actually defend is Van der Ven. And Postecoglou's tactics, he's going to be retired before he's 30. His hamstrings are made of glass. Paper mache legs. But take nothing away from Chelsea. They're 2-0 down at their rivals' ground. And they just go, right, lads, it's Tottenham. Let's just start playing football. Cole Palmer should have had 4 or 5 goals yesterday. Pedro Neto had your doggy on skates. Lavia was absolutely unreal. Caicedo, plays into plays right back. They dominate in the midfield. It's a joke. Chelsea should have won that game 6 or 7-3. 3 goals flatters us. The only reason we got the Son goal is because Chelsea took their foot off the gas. We are an awful football inside. We've got 4 clean sheets in 46. 46 games. 4 clean sheets. And I'm sorry, you can't defend that. That is, we're in relegation form. We've lost 7 of 15 games. We've lost 8 of our last 12 away games. We spent £150 million on Brennan Johnson, Solanke and Odebear. Solanke's the only one who can come off that pitch yesterday, and I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he's the only one that come off that pitch yesterday with his head held high. His hold-up play was magnificent. His finish was great. But it's Son, right? Son's going to end up playing to this club until he's 48 because Daniel Levy's going to get every pound out of that South Korean market that he can. And we've already signed an under-21 South Korean player that's going to come in January. This cash machine, Levy isn't going anywhere. £1.3 million a match day that club generates. No other football club in world football can compete with the amount of money they generate. Chelsea take 850 grand. We're doing nearly 600 grand more. Chelsea have dropped £1 billion. They were called £1 billion bottle jobs. Who's laughing at them now, eh? Is anyone laughing at Chelsea? They've got a functioning midfield. They've got one of the most informed players in Europe. They've got a couple of bozos at the back. You bring a number 9 and a ball-playing centre-back into Chelsea, they're not far off Liverpool. They're probably...
And a goalkeeper.
A goalkeeper, a ball-playing centre-back, and a number... And I know you can say that about a lot of teams. Arsenal need a number 9, whatever. But Chelsea will actually go out and do it. Because their manager is like... they believe in their manager. Mate, you're 2-0 down. And you go and score 4. Now, I'm sorry. I don't know what you guys think, but if this manager is here come Thursday... I should advise anyone, if you are a betting man, if you can't bet for religious reasons, whatever, but if you are a betting man, I advise that you strongly put a few quid on Rangers because we will get pumped. Mark my words. Anyway, my blood pressure is through the roof. This football club's a disgrace. And what a fucking great start to the week, hey?
Epic rant, man. It's an epic rant. And, before I bring Roms and Lee in, I think if you sack Ange and you bring someone in, the same things will happen. So I just think you just need to fold the football club, right? Just get rid of the football club.
I'm not sure, Dan.
And Henry's blood pressure will be all right. Go on, judges. It's tongue-in-cheek.
I'm not so sure. Like if they bring in someone, it'd be the same. I think they've got to have someone to come in and just be a little bit sensible with it. For me, Ange now, if they lose to Southampton, that's him gone. But so stubborn. Just change your tactics, mate. Just that's all you got to do. Tottenham have got some decent players. They score. You know, they're 2-0 up. They could have been 3 or 4-0 up at that stage. And then they just capitulate because they just don't manage the game properly. They're too wide open. They're too open. And someone's just got to come in and just say, do you know what? I'm going to be attacking, but there's also going to be times when I'm not going to be. And do you know what? It's no disgrace. It's no disgrace if you're playing against Chelsea or you're playing against one of the big boys to change your tactics. You know, you can slag off Man United as much as you want, you know, but when they come down to the Emirates, they knew that if they played like toe-to-toe with us, they were going to get smacked. So what did they do? They took all their tried to defend it. All right, it didn't work. Then they go and play Nottingham Forest. Okay, we're going to open up against these, and then they get smashed. So you've got to know horses for courses. And at the end of it, like you're 2-0 up against Chelsea, you've got to manage that a lot better. In saying that, is it his fault that Basuma has a moment of madness? What is he doing for that penalty? Like, you know, and also you can go on as much as you want about things, Henry, and I get all of that. Like, if the officials and VAR are doing their jobs, which they're supposed to be doing, Chelsea are down to 10 men with you being 2-1 up. Different game.
We could have had a man sent off as well, though.
Yes, you should have. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have. So it could have been a thing, but I don't know if that's the case. Both players should have got sent off. You've got VAR getting in and trying to make excuses for it and all that. Like, that's not the first time that Caicedo's done a tackle like that. It's not the first time, and he keeps getting away with it. So he'll continue to keep doing it until someone sorts it out. That is a sending off in the current climax of football. No ifs, no buts, no whatever. I've seen tackles go back. I think the Liverpool-Tottenham game was one where a Liverpool player got sent off.
Last season. Yeah.
VAR, like, you know what I mean? There's no difference. And that at the end of the day is how it is.